Hey there, Captain Mutant here, and it's been a long time coming, but LEGO have finally officially revealed their Dungeons & Dragons set.
And we've got a few things to say about it.
It all started with a competition on LEGO ideas which culminated with the reveal of the winning entry back in January of last year.
That was ages ago.
It was, and we've been patient little campers. Then, in February, they teased us with this.
A gelatinous cube.
That wasn't part of the original submission.
We'll get to that. This was followed 3 weeks later with this other tease.
Mimics. Devious monsters.
And another thing not part of the original submission.
True, but you can stop wondering now as everything has been officially revealed.
Brick by brick, head into the tavern of mystery, unravel the story.
To the meadow we flee.
With the owlbear behind us, we fight off giant spiders.
With the wisdom of a sentient tree.
Now into the dungeon, the secret door.
With the space to peace,
Let's get out of here. Adventure in action, we take on a dragon. The battle rages on as the wizard, rogue, or cleric. This adventure so epic.
Okay, hold on. Time out. I don't mind the more cartoony colors, but that dragon looks horrendous compared to the submitted model. It doesn't even wrap around the tower, which was a huge appeal for me.
McCluck, you're going to have to put a line under that winning entry for various reasons.
Which are?
More often than not, LEGO designers have to make changes based on currently available parts and the building experience.
Okay, that's to be expected. But does it have to be so different?
I think there's another big clue as to why it was changed so much.
Okay, well, out with it then.
Look at the submitted photos. I think it's clear these were digital renders. You can do so much in the virtual world when you don't have to deal with, pesky things like adequate clutch power and gravity.
Well, I don't like it.
Thing is, McCluck, you can moan all you like, but that submitted model doesn't exist. This one does. So shall we explore what the official one has to offer?
Alright then.
Cool, because I'm pretty excited.
Yes, it's obvious there have been changes, but the very feel of the concept is pretty much the same. You've got a tavern, part of a castle wall, a tower, and a dungeon of sorts round the back. I like that you can disconnect the various parts, making it easier to play inside.
Can you put them in different combinations?
No, it's just like modular buildings, it's to give you better access.
And there's a lot of cool features like trapdoors and whatnot.
What I'm quite interested in are the creatures.
And there's so many more than originally offered. It's like they crammed the set with as many as they could get away with.
I don't have an issue with that.
Me neither.
I like the fact they're all brick built.
I don't. I prefer custom molds.
The advantage here is that you don't need to buy the set to build your own monster, aside from the prints for some of the eyes.
Are they prints? Or stickers?
Hard to say, but they look like prints. But any custom builder will tell you there's always ways around that if you set your mind to it.
I must say, it certainly looks like they've turned this model into an unofficial Honor Amongst Thieves set.
Hey, what?
The movie that came out a few years ago based on the game.
What makes you say that?
Come on. Pretty much all the monsters from that movie are present and correct. They've got the owlbear, right? Followed by the displacer beast, okay? And then there's the gelatinous cube, you follow? And the dragon's color has been changed from green to red.
All these creatures date back to the very start of the game, around 50 years ago. So it's not surprising they're here too. And as for the dragon's color, you have to admit, red's much more iconic than green. And this dragon's certainly not as pudgy as Thunderchild, the one from the movie.
Alright. Well, there's a dragonborn character, and these didn't come into play until 2006. And of course, the Bard, which wasn't an official class until 2000. All from the movie.
Buddy, these are additions to the game from decades ago, and are pretty much embedded into the fabric of Dungeons & Dragons by now.
At least there was no beholder in the movie, unlike the cool brick-built creation in this set.
Not true. It's talked about during the movie, and you can see it as part of the end credits.
But how could they not include it, though? It was part of the original submission, and just like the owlbear, cube, and displacer beast, it's been part of the game since the very beginning. No idea if these similarities were intentional, McCluck, and you're right, there are going to be obvious similarities between a toy and a movie which are based on the same intellectual property.
And if there are similarities, It might draw in fans from the movie to get them to buy the set as well.
Sound business decision.
So where's my crisp pine minifig, huh?
Nothing stopping you from making your own. This set, though, comes with 6 characters, including a human barkeep, a dwarf cleric, a gnome fighter, an orc rogue, an elf wizard, and a dragonborn bard. So many similarities with the movie and yet no mimic?
Actually, there is. It's well hidden, but it's one of the chests. Plus, there will be a mimic as a gift with purchase when you get this set, although it will obviously not be to scale.
Ah, a GWP to trigger people's FOMO.
FOMO?
Fear of missing out. You know, a clear marketing ploy to get you to buy the set now rather than later. Food and rent be damned.
Well, there's also an adventure book on offer, redeemable for LEGO Insider points, or for free if you want a digital copy.
Ha! How very altruistic of them.
There's also D&D creatures that weren't present in the movie but are part of D&D lore, which are included in this set.
You're right, Gigi. Look under the bridge and you'll find a bunch of myconids, also known as fungus folk, peaceful creatures. And in one of the rooms in the dungeons, you'll find some big blobs, which are black pudding monsters. Not as peaceful.
Oh, don't touch those. Looks like one of your cooking disasters, GG.
There's a heck of a lot to see and explore.
Not surprising, considering it's made up of over 3,700 pieces.
So is this going to be a day one purchase for you?
That's the $360 question, Gigi.
There's also the space constraint. This amount of plastic takes a fair bit of room.
I used to be a huge tabletop RPG fan, so I am quite tempted. Although, as you know, I am more of a sci-fi person nowadays. But I think it'll certainly also appeal to castle collectors. They're being really well catered for recently, what with the Lion Knight's castle and the medieval market.
This set will slot in nicely among those.
If they can afford it.
And that's often what it boils down to. This is a very busy set, crammed with as many creatures and play features as they could add. Yes, it doesn't look the same as the original proposal,
Especially the dragon.
but on the whole, it looks like an impressive creation that should please medieval and fantasy builders alike. But what do you think? Will you be getting it once it's released on the 1st of April? Or will you rather wait for it to be properly discounted? Or is this just not your cup of tea Earl Grey hot? Let me know in the comments, and we'll chat again next time.